Imperial arrival on the forest moon. This is Modbrix set 107475. It consists of 2243 pieces, which are compatible to bricks by other building blocks companies like Lego, Mega, Kobe, and so on. This is my second Modbrix set. The first set depicted a scene from a Star Trek movie, and this set now here depicts a scene from a Star Wars movie. Episode 6, Return of the Jedi to be precise. We get to see the Imperial landing platform on Endor. Between my first Modbrix set and this set here, something happened. BlueBrixx acquired the Modbrix company, and yeah, that means Modbrix is now part of BlueBrixx. And this is why this box here looks so differently compared to the box of the first set. The Star Trek set came with a quite colorful box which had some kind of design, and this Star Wars inspired set here comes in this rather boring box. It's one of those typical BlueBrixx boxes. Only the BlueBrixx logo is missing. But it also comes additionally with this sleeve here, this paper sleeve, which, comes with some kind of design. So we get to see the completed build here, a computer-rendered image of the completed build on the front side. And on the back, we get to see different views of that build. It's not any fancy box design, but the sleeve is at least better than nothing, even though I don't really care about boxes. But what I think what's quite interesting is that this set even exists. Like so often, BlueBrixx avoids licensing, or in this case Modbrix, which is nowadays identical with BlueBrixx. And normally we get to see some vehicles or something like that, and I'm not a lawyer, but I think it's alright to reproduce vehicles as construction block sets. At least I think I have heard that you are allowed to do models of cars, and several car companies try to sue, but I think as long as you don't use their logos and names, it's alright. They didn't win in court. But I'm not sure about a Star Wars set. I think that's quite strange. Car companies and toy companies are in different industries, but Disney with their Star Wars movie franchise also is extremely present in the toy markets. I mean, there are endless amounts of Star Wars themed toys. It's incredible. And I mean, there are even construction block sets with Star Wars themes. Lego has the license. And I'm not sure if you are simply allowed to do this and just avoid to mention the logos and the names, and then everything is fine. I don't know, but it must be. I mean, otherwise the set wouldn't exist. But it's so strange. Lego pays very much money, I guess, for the license, and that they are allowed to use their design, the Star Wars designs. But it seems that the designs of those vehicles and the whole setting isn't really protected. And yeah, this is how they get away with it. I mean, it's not a direct copy of the movie design. It's an interpretation in construction blocks. But there is already a toy company which sells Star Wars construction blocks and they pay license fees. So I don't know how this works, but yeah, it seems to be okay. I mean, there are also a lot of Star Wars MOCS and yeah, MOCS of a lot of other movie franchises and so on. And as long as you don't give those MOCS the correct names or avoid all those protected movie names and logos, it also seems to be okay. So if it's okay in that small scale, it also has to be okay in a bigger scale. I don't know. But well, enough about that. Now let's have a look what's inside this box. Everything we take out of the box reminds us of a typical BlueBrixx set. The bricks come in these unnumbered bags. The bricks are unsorted. They are not sorted to individual building sections, so I guess there are no building sections. What I'm going to do now is that I will open all the bags and empty them on the table, and then I will start to sort the bricks by type. With some bags it's quite easy, there's not much to sort. You can see this is all the same type. And yeah, other bags come with a mixture of different pieces. But all in all, there are not too many different types of bricks, so I guess sorting won't take too much time. Talking about the bricks, those are also, yeah, I guess the same bricks that we also find in BlueBrixx sets. Some of the bricks come with quite neat injection holes. Those are barely visible. That's good quality. But other bricks, for example, this one here, come with huge crater-like injection holes, and that's just ugly to look at. This one here is alright. I think most importantly is that the dark green bricks and the dark tan bricks come with good injection holes, because many of the studs of those of the bricks in those colors are visible in the completed build. As long as all the ugly studs are covered, that's absolutely fine, but I really don't like to see those ugly injection holes in the completed build. Oh, and by the way, something here is different than than with normal BlueBrixx sets. We get this little piece of paper here with a QR code, which leads us to a website where we can download the building instructions, because just like with BlueBrixx special sets, this Modbrix set here comes without printed building instructions. There are only digital building instructions which we have to download. Well, then now let me download the instructions and sort the bricks. Alright, I have sorted the bricks in such a way that I can find everything real quick, and of course I have downloaded the building instructions. I'm starting now with step 1, and I will come back to you as soon as I see something interesting or something simply doesn't work as shown in the instructions. Step 22. We have completed the actual base, and now we start to add plants and stuff like that. But let's take the time to talk about the bricks now. I have placed a lot of them, as you can see, and the bricks work totally fine. There is no problem with the clutch power, they interlock just perfectly, but I'm really not a fan of how those bricks look. So, as said before, we got a lot of pieces with huge injection holes. And there's also a problem with the colors. Have a look here at this tile here. It should be dark green, or the same dark green as all these plates here, but there is definitely a difference in the shade visible. It just looks lighter than the plates. I think we have placed somewhere 2 more of those things. Yeah, up here. And here the difference isn't that extreme. Those 2 tiles here are better quality, but it's still visible. And this here is just awful. Another problem about the bricks is that some of them are quite scratched. Here, this bigger blue plate down here comes with a lot of scratches. At the first moment I thought maybe some oily substance is left on that plate, but no, it's not dirt, it's simply a lot of scratches. That's a bit annoying. Well, at least the bricks work totally fine, but I guess I would recommend to replace all the green pieces, all the dark green pieces, and maybe also all the 10 pieces with Lego pieces if you want to display the set. Because I really don't like to see those injection holes. When there are stats visible, we also have to fear that the injection holes are visible. When we have a build with a lot of tiles, it's no problem because all these stats are covered, but when they are not covered, I simply don't like how the whole thing looks. Step 37. In the previous step we have placed these brick modifieds here, and now we have to add 1x1 plates to them. And this is just a bit annoying because you really need filigree fingers to do this. There is simply not enough space to put your huge fingers between the bricks. And the same problem goes on in step 38, where we add tiles and these 1x1 slopes. I think it would have been easier if we simply had built these little segments individually like this, and then at the end place them where they are supposed to stay. Step 46. In this step we are supposed to use 4 of these tall 1x1 bricks, but when we have a look at the instructions, we can only see where to place 2 of them. What are we supposed to do with the other 2? Strange. I guess it's an error in the instructions and those other 2 are simply left over. Step 56. To reverse the building direction, we are using a technique which, for example, the Lego company doesn't use. But I showed you this in a lot of BlueBrixx sets. So we get these hollow stats here, these single stats. And then we also get this tool here. We stick the tool in the single stat like this. And then, let me just place the camera. And then we place the single stat at the underside of a plate, for example, like here. And hold it down with a fingernail while at the same time remove the bar, like this. Now we are going to do this a second time. And the negative stat behind the first negative stat, like this. And now you can see that we have created a plate with studs on both sides. And now it's no problem to interlock these two studs with, for example, this plate here. Step 145. We are in the middle of building the platform, and as you can see, it's built completely in snot technique, studs not on top. And it wasn't easy to build this thing. You really had to pay attention because it's extremely filigree during the building process. Once you have completed this platform, it's quite sturdy, it's alright, but during the building process itself, you really have to pay attention. I dropped the whole thing several times because, when you hold it on one side, it might happen that the other side simply falls off, and when you push too hard, something pops off from the other side, or even the whole build explodes and the pieces get scattered all over the floor and you have to pick them up again. It took me some time to build this, but I think I didn't experience too many accidents during the building process. You simply have to pay a bit of attention. It's not too difficult, but it's not so easy either. I think on the box they say that the set is for 8 years old or for kids older than 8 years. But I'm really not sure if I would give the set to an 8 or 9-year-old. I think for them it's a bit too difficult to interlock all these pieces with these building techniques used here. And also another thing about the platform is that it shows that the bricks aren't the best quality. You can see that we get everywhere these little gaps here where the bricks simply don't interlock perfectly because they don't have perfect tolerances. They are slightly too big or slightly too small. You normally don't notice this, but when doing these complex snot techniques, it shows that the bricks simply aren't of the best quality. I'm not sure, maybe this would look better with Lego bricks. It might be that it's only a problem with the building technique itself, but I think, I'm quite sure that it's also a problem of the bricks. Well, now we are going to add more stuff on the platform, and in some of the next steps we are going to put it on this stand-like thing here. Step 161. We have completed the platform and already placed it on its pillars. Now we start with building the AT-AT. Step 188. Here is a tiny error in the instructions. For some reason the length of this bar here, which is 4L, got pushed up here next to the 188. But this isn't really a problem. Even if you don't notice the 4L up here and don't know how long the bar you are supposed to place is supposed to be, you can't really place the wrong bar because there isn't any other bar of that color with a different length included in the set. We only got the bars with the length of 4L in the set. Step 236. We have completed the AT-AT and also already placed it on the diorama. Building the AT-AT was quite easy, but placing it on this base here was a bit tricky because of this walking position in which we have placed it. The legs all have the same length, but because of this walking position, they are all in an angle, and this means that the length differs. And because of that, the feet don't really interlock that well with the base down here. I think this foot here is interlocked, or yeah, this here too. This is loose, and this here isn't completely interlocked. It just sits a bit on top of the studs. When we have a look at the instructions, we can see that this foot here sits a bit on top of the studs. I have done it a bit differently. I interlocked it, and yeah, I think it normally should be a bit more to the left than I did here. We can't really see what is done with the foot here in the back, and the only foot we can clearly see is this one here in the front, and this clearly can't be interlocked. And also have a look here. When we have a look at it, we can see that I have placed the 8080 in such a way that it leans a bit to its left, or from our view to the right. So I did this so that it is docked to this gangway like in the movie. But when we have a look at the box, there we can see that there's actually a gap between the 8080 and the gangway. But because of the gap, it stands quite straight here. So actually this might look better. I don't know. I guess I just leave it like this. Well, now after the 8080, I think it's time to start with building the trees. Step 333. I just have placed the last of the trees, and it really was no fun to assemble those trees. It was completely repetitive work. Those were almost 100 steps, and most of the steps we had to do several times because there are always several trees of the same kind. And yeah, you can see that all those trees are made out of these 1x1 pieces, and this is just very time-consuming work to do. The first few trees to put together was quite okay, but after a while it really gets annoying, and now I'm just happy that I'm done with the trees. The result looks quite cool, but it's really not fun to get there. Well, what's next? I think in the next steps we are going to build the ATST. Step 343. In contrast to building the trees, building the ATST didn't take much time. It's a cute little model. The only thing left to do now is to build the shuttle, I think. Step 349. Here is a tiny meaningless error or glitch in the instructions graphics. In each step, the new pieces which we have to place are marked with red lines, as you can see. But in this step, we also get to see a green line, and I don't know what this is supposed to be. Maybe the program with which they created these instructions here detected some kind of collision between the bricks. But I don't know. I don't think that we used any illegal building technique here. Everything looks just fine. It must be some kind of error of the program. I don't know. But it doesn't really matter if the green line is there or not, we can just ignore it. Step 392. We have completed the shuttle and we also have already placed it on the platform. In the next step, we have to do this. Well, we have to place a 2x3 plate in white here, and we have to interlock these 1x1 by whatever bricks in trans clear and place them here like this. This is needed for the next step when we want to put our shuttle in flight mode. I prefer our shuttle landed like this. I'm not going to put it in the flight mode, but I'm showing you how to put it in flight mode if you want to. So, in the next step, which is by the way unnumbered, you can see that we have to remove the shuttle from the platform. And yeah, these two pieces are stuck to the platform, which actually belong to our shuttle, like this. Just give me a second. Yeah, like this. And well, okay. I think this is the correct orientation. Now our shuttle should look just like in the instructions. Yeah. Okay. In the next step, we have to remove this 1x1 plate with clip in white. And in the next step, we also have to remove this 1x1 round plate in light bluish gray, and also these two plates in white here, these 2x2 plates. I think this is a 2x2 plate with only two studs, and yeah, this is a 2x2 plate modified, so it's a normal 2x2 plate when looking from above, but from the underside it's a tile. And when we have removed these pieces, we get to see the black plates below, which we can see in the instructions. I'm not going to do this. And on these with these black pieces, we are interlocking our 2x3 plate. And then we are interlocking our two trans clear bricks with that plate, just like this. So you can imagine the whole thing, instead of these two plates here, would look like this with this plate trans clear brick construction. And yeah, then we place the whole thing here on the platform. Here we got this little stud, and it sits on the stud like this. And yeah, here's the shuttle supposed to be, and we also are supposed to adjust the wings, but I'm not going to do this. I simply prefer the shuttle in a mode in which it is already landed, like this. After the decision of placing the shuttle in a flight mode or not, we have completed the set. And I think designer Florian really has done a great job here. Normally Modbrix sets look quite rudimentary, but in this case we get to see a lot of details. And I think it's quite amazing how they could reproduce the whole setting in such a small scale. Have a look at all those things here. We get to see the platform with its gangway. a shuttle here on top, and yeah, here's also some stuff placed on the platform itself, and the platform itself also comes with these brick built markings. That's quite cool. Then we got these floodlights here. We get to see a lot of trees, huge trees, smaller trees, trees of different kind. And yeah, then we got this 8080, which I think is done with very interesting building techniques. Or better said, I really like how they could create such a small 8080, which is still immediately recognizable as a 8080. And the same thing could be said about this small ATST. Then we got here the whole ground below the platform with all these plants, these plant greebelings, and we get to see this little path here. It's done really well, but I don't know what this thing here is supposed to be. This little gray box down here. Here in the back we get to see water. And yeah, a lot of these interesting trees. This is done really well. I don't think that I have seen a Modbrix set before that looks so cool. Or at least I haven't seen many Modbrix sets before with such a detailed scenario. To achieve this, we have used quite interesting building techniques, but these techniques don't come without any flaw. For example, the floodlights up here on the platform are quite fragile. We could have done this better, I think. And yeah, it's also a problem that the bricks aren't of the best quality. I think that the building techniques used for the set are a bit too ambitious for the bricks included in the set. The bricks simply don't have the best tolerances, and because of that, we get to see, for example, a lot of gaps here on the platform. This just isn't too nice to look at, and yeah, you can also see that sometimes these tiles here have to be bent a bit to be able to interlock all of the bricks. I think with BlueBrixx or Lego bricks, the platform might have looked a bit better, but it isn't as we wouldn't have been able to complete the set with those bricks. As you can see, I absolutely was able to put everything together, but with better bricks, I guess the whole thing would look a bit nicer. And yeah, another thing about the bricks is that, as I mentioned before, most of them come with quite ugly injection holes. And yeah, because of that, I would recommend, if you want to display the set, to replace all the plates in dark tan, dark green, and maybe also in dark blue. And I would also replace light bluish gray wedges, as you can see here and here. And maybe if you want to place the shuttle in the flight mode, you should also replace white wedges. I don't know if it is visible on camera, but maybe here you can see that those white wedges also come with ugly injection holes. But other than the bad tolerances, which maybe you can live with, and the injection holes, the bricks work totally fine. There's definitely no problem with clutch power. The bricks as I said before, work totally fine. I simply don't like to look at them too much. Another thing about the set is that I think the marketing department simply slept when they published the set. The set is marketed for kids of the age of 8 years and older, and I think that's just rubbish. I don't think that an 8-year-old would have fun with interlocking all those trees. My fingers still hurt after hours, and this platform here really was no fun to create. I don't think that an 8-year-old could accomplish this. Oh, I accidentally ripped off one of those trees here. I think this belongs here. Yeah, this should be fine. Well, all I have said might sound a bit negative, but all in all, I really had much fun with building this set. It's not a play set, so as I said before, it's not something for kids. It's definitely a display set. It's way too fragile to play with it, but I think it looks really great. And if we ignore the landing platform and the trees, I really had fun assembling it. And I love the result. It was a bit complicated to get there, but once it's completed, we got here a really cool set in front of us.